Tonight, we continue our coverage of the NBA's Conference Finals Plus. We bring to you our top 5 favorite games for the upcoming schedule during this year's NFL regular season, and so much more. Our Nation Sports Show is next. Our Nation Sports Show. The Eastern Conference Finals. The New York Knicks. The Indiana Pacers. Two familiar foes facing each other once again in the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. After dropping the first 2 games at home against Indiana on the road in Game 3, the Knicks made an epic comeback for the ages, stealing Game 3 on the road. Tonight, they must do it again. Game 4 tonight. It is all or nothing for New York. One more victory. This series will be even at 2 games apiece. One more victory for Indiana, and the Knicks will be on the verge of elimination. One more victory for Indiana, realizing their dreams. One step closer to the finals. It's showtime.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
It's 7 o'clock, and you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. Live for another edition of our Nation Sports Show here on YouTube.com. What is going on, everybody? In the 11th hour, I am your host for this evening, Stephen Wyand. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me right now as I am riding solo right now, waiting for my co-host to join me here tonight to talk about a lot of things in the world of sports, including the NBA postseason is hot and heavy, with the conference finals taking place in the Eastern and Western Conferences, respectively, in one of the most compelling series, the Knicks and the Pacers. And also taking place is the Thunder and the Timberwolves. Be sure to join us here tonight, and looking forward to another edition of the show. But before we get to all the world of sports, we got to plug the social media platforms to tell you find folks where you can find us on our social media platforms. Up first on Twitter or X at ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, Instagram.com/ Our Nation Sports Show, and where right now I am live solo right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to all your family and your friends that love the world of sports. And not only do we love the world of sports, but we also love some professional wrestling. RASSLIN. That spells wrestling. The Nation's Corner is live every Saturday, unless there is a pay-per-view or PLE preventing that, at youtube.com/The Nation's Corner at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can also follow them on Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook.com/The Nation's Corner, and Instagram /The Nation's Corner. And if you want your professional wrestling coverage, the guys and gal have that covered for you as well on the weekends, where Saturday night is all right for fighting, as Elton John would say. But we are here today. Well, I'm here, I should say, for now by myself. And I do want to talk about the world of sports when it comes to the NBA because, as I mentioned at the top of the hour with that video package with my voiceover, the Eastern Conference Finals, by far, it is the most competitive series between these two series, between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. This series from the get go was so competitive on paper. And sometimes it's too good to be true. But when reality hits you, it hits you good. And in reality, this series is living up to the hype. The Knicks and the Pacers in the first two games were separated by a combined 6 points or 8 points. I believe so. Yes. Off the top of my head, I believe that is correct. But if it's not, then bump it. I'm just trying to do mental math on the air, and we're live, and that's what happens when you're live. Um. Anyways, this series is very competitive. I absolutely love this series and everything that it stands for because these two teams know each other very well, especially the franchises themselves. Tyrese Halliburton leading the Pacers, Jalen Brunson leading the Knicks in the battle. And on paper, this had the makings of a dogfight. And folks, it is a dogfight. 3 games. All 3 games have been very competitive, highly entertaining, and you couldn't ask for more. You could not ask for more. So excited to know that, you know, competitive basketball still exists because these two teams pride themselves on playing not just great offense, but playing good defense as well. And that is something a lot of the NBA teams are missing these days is teams playing on both ends of the floor. I mean, this series has been very, very, very awesome to tune into. I mean, from the opening game, in game one at the Mecca in Madison Square Garden, the temperature was hot in that building. Everybody was on pins and needles for both the fans' perspective and both teams' perspectives. And also include the announcers, Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller calling the games with Stan Van Gundy. Just an amazing display of basketball, at its finest. Game one set the bar. It was an incredible game of ebbs and flows. I mean, Indiana, from the opening tip, was 9 for 9 from the floor. I mean, what did they do? Had the sliders turned up to 100 on NBA 2K where they weren't missing a shot? Like, it was crazy. I mean, Indiana, no matter what they shot, a 2, a 3, they got inside for a dunk. They were hitting everything. And the Knicks had to rebound, and they did. Led by, of course, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns in the opening game. I mean, what more do I need to say? I mean, game one was a back and forth display of run, 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 run. And both teams were throwing haymakers left and right. And something remarkable happened in this game. A couple of things that jump off the bat to me. For one, when you look at this magnitude of a game and how big it is, the first game, everybody in the media and all of us here on our show and other podcasts around, that cover sports just like we do for fun, we were talking about this series and what was it? What could it be? How was it going to be? Well, we got our answer in the first game. It was that competitive. It was that competitive. And everybody from Neesmith to Halliburton to Brunson to Cat, and Nemhard for Indiana and Pascal Siakam. I mean, you name it. Josh Hart for the Knicks. I mean, everybody in this series knew how big this moment was for both franchises. This is Indiana's first conference finals appearance since, I believe, 2013 when they took on the Heat in that 7-game series. This is the Knicks' first conference finals appearance since 2000, coincidentally, when they faced the Pacers. This series, to me, will go down as one of the greatest series to ever be played. First of all, before I continue, what's going on, William? How you doing, sir? What's going on, man? Continuing here. When you look back on some of the greatest series in basketball history, one that comes to my mind, and especially with the modern era of the last 25 years, it is the Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls in 2009. Many thought that series was not going to go the distance, but it did. Well, this right here, this has the makings of going pretty much the distance because we all know what's at stake for the New York Knicks tonight. They have to win tonight. And getting back to game one, before we move forward, what was also impressive about the Knicks' run in this particular game is Jalen Brunson had 5 fouls in this game. And the Knicks went on a run, a massive run, to push the lead to double digits. At one point, the Knicks were up 17 points. With 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they were up 14. And pretty much, when you're up double digits with less than 3 minutes, wait. Did I just say 3 minutes? Yes, I did. I did say 3 minutes. When you are up less than 3 minutes to go in a ball game, generally by double digits, that means it's over. The game is over. Well, the Pacers had something else to say about that, including Aaron Nesmith. This guy, all of a sudden, caught fire, figuratively and literally, when it comes to his performance in that fourth quarter. It was like, it was NBA Jam all over again. You hear the announcer go, "He's on fire!" Well, Nesmith was clearly on fire with his three-point shooting accuracy in that fourth quarter, because at one point he hit like 5 or 6 consecutive threes in a row to keep the Pacers in the game. And then, remarkably, and this is one facet of the game of basketball that people tend to overlook, ladies and gentlemen, and that is free throw percentages. The Knicks missed 2 critical free throws in that fourth quarter to keep Indiana's hopes alive. Nesmith hit one of his 6 consecutive threes to push it to a 2-point game. And then the Knicks missed a free throw. Missed a free throw. They turned the ball over. I'm sorry. They turned the ball over. And then that's when the three happened. And then the Knicks had a chance to, ice the game with free throws, and they missed it. And Halliburton, got to give him credit. He drove into the paint and had he basically said, "I was going to go inside and, get the layup." But then once he saw that Robinson was right there defending, he said, no. I got a better idea. He backed up and he was trying to shoot the game-winning 3. And at that point, I didn't blame him, because you don't want to play for overtime. And when he backed up and shot the shot, it looked like he was on the 3-point line, but one of his toes was on the line, making it a 2. And when he shot the shot, it had the most craziest circus-like bounce, and it just rattled and rattled and rattled. He shot that ball so high. If he shot that ball with a normal trajectory, more than likely it's gonna be hitting the rim, and that's it. But no, he shot that ball with such arc It hit the rim, the backboard, and went right in the basket. In one of the most unbelievable, unbelievable shots you will ever see. And Kevin Harlan's call on this shot was phenomenal. We could not believe what we were seeing in game one. And Halliburton gave the choke sign because he thought the Knicks blown the game and they won the game with a three. But the officials ruled it a two. And Halliburton, quite, frankly, I don't blame him for being pissed off because he thought the game was over. Hell, I thought it was over. And it was just unbelievable to think that this game was still happening. And if you're the Knicks, you're taking that overtime period and thinking, okay, Halliburton, did the choke sign. We're going to come back and beat them. And that was going to more than likely haunt them. But that didn't happen. Indiana was focused in that overtime period. They made shots. They got defensive stops. They did everything that was necessary to win that game on the road. And they ended up stealing game one. Despite Karl Anthony Towns having 35 points. Despite Jalen Brunson having 42. You mean to tell me that two of your best players scored at least 35 points and they didn't win the game? And I said it right then to Ezra and everybody that was watching that game. I said, this Indiana team is very scrappy. This team is going to be a thorn in the Knicks' ass. They're going to be a pain in the Knicks' ass, is what I said on Twitter. And I stood corrected. Because in game two, Indiana was out to prove that this was not a fluke. And Pascal Siakam, my goodness gracious. What an incredible, incredible performance by Siakam. And yes, William, I agree. Neesmith did his incredible Reggie Miller impersonation. Game two comes on the road. And Halliburton really didn't have it going in this game. He still got some shots in. But Siakam was the focal point of the Pacers' attack in this game. A playoff career high, 39 points for Siakam. Indiana, unlike the Knicks in game one, when the Knicks couldn't hit their free throws, the Pacers hit their free throws. It was incredible how Siakam was so poised, so confident. And this Indiana team, they are so unselfish. So unselfish. They believe in team basketball. And one of the few things that really stands out with me with this Indiana team is how these guys aren't just three-point shooters. These guys play basketball. How basketball for nearly 30 plus years, when that three-point line was, introduced, teams played inside and out. It wasn't outside and then in. It was the other way around, inside and out. And that's how Indiana plays. These guys play as one unit. They believe in team basketball. And it's incredible to see a team that has a who's who, a collective bunch of players that can coexist. No egos involved. Everybody is together. One for all for one. And it's really remarkable to see basketball like this being played, because not a lot of teams these days play with that same mentality like Indiana does. Because usually when these teams have a star on their team, they usually focus on that guy. And Indiana has a full roster that they go to. They don't just have a short roster of players, a rotation where they play 6, 7 guys. They play a hell of a lot of guys on that floor. And it's really cool to see basketball like this being played again. It really is. It really is. Because this is the basketball that I grew up watching. Was teams playing together. Like the Spurs, those Mavericks teams, the Lakers teams that had Kobe and Shaq and Gasol and Bynum, and the Celtic team that won the title in 2008. Just unreal. Really unreal. Finally, a team like this who is not about it's about we, the team. And I really think that the Knicks have a lot of pressure on themselves, especially after dropping the first 2 games. And then heading into game 3, it looked like it was going to be a demolition derby. A one-sided ass whipping. Indiana was up 20 points in game 3 at home. The Knicks could not stop nobody. And then, after having only 4 points and 3 fouls, Karl-Anthony Towns, like I made the comparison with Neesmith in game 1, NBA Jam, like, he's on fire. Karl-Anthony Towns caught heat, caught fire, and was firing on all cylinders and shooting the Knicks back into game 3. Karl-Anthony Towns saved his best performance so far in these playoffs in game 3 on Sunday night. The Knicks looked defeated. It looked like for 3 quarters and change, this game was over. Double-digit lead on the road against Indiana. It seemed impossible, but the Knicks just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, scrapping and clawing, scratching and clawing. And they got back in the game. Led by Cat and Brunson scoring when he needed to score. And also by Josh Hart's rebounding. He had 2 critical rebounds in that late stages in that fourth quarter. That really kept the possessions for the Knicks alive. And they also made some incredible defensive stops too. And defending Neesmith and Halliburton and Siakam. And they were making shots too. But every time Indiana had a shot and they answered the challenge, the Knicks answered the bell right then and there. And just an incredible poise on the road in enemy territory to come from behind, trailing 55-35 in that second quarter, to go on a run, eventually chipping away this lead to single digits. Not only taking the lead, but every time the Pacers took the lead back, New York went on another mini run to keep the lead and made sure the Pacers didn't come back and win the game. Because if you're the Knicks, they knew in game 3, we came back, we have to win. If we would have lost that game, I would have not want to have been in that locker room. I would have been pissed off. We came back to lose? No. At that point, the Knicks had 1 or 2 choices. Either you try, which obviously they did, or you roll over and you quit. Because any other team would have said, the hell with this, we're done. We're done. But the Knicks kept fighting. All the pressure that was on the Knicks' back from the media, the mainstream media to be at that, saying that the Knicks are this, the Knicks are that, they're good, they're great, they're good, they're great because of Brunson's, clutch plays in the fourth quarter. I get all that. But if they would have lost game 3, you could throw all those narratives out the door. But got to give them credit. Got to give them credit. In game 3, any other team would have rolled over into a fetal position, and would have quit. Throwing up the white flag. We're done. Better luck next year, next season. Maybe we can get game 4 just for, for our dignity, our pride. Not let that get in the way because you don't want to get swept. But New York on the road, an incredible comeback of their own, just like the Pacers did in game number 1, trailing 17 and then 14 with, yes, over 3 minutes to go in the game. And tonight is game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. If you're the Knicks, you have to win tonight. You cannot afford to go down 3-1. Tonight is a huge game because if the Knicks do not take game 4, then that comeback on Sunday didn't mean nothing. Because, yeah, you made a comeback to get back in the series. But in order to make this a true series, you have to win tonight. Even this bad boy up at 2 games apiece. If I'm the Knicks, I'm bringing that same energy that I brought in game 3. All or nothing. Leave everything out there on that floor. Every possession, every offensive, sequence, every defensive possession, every defensive and offensive rebounds, every free throw matters for the Knicks. They must win tonight. Now, I don't have a dog in the fight because my team, the Boston Celtics, have been out of it since the Knicks took them out. And this is my thing too. And this is the one thing about New York that really bothered me. And I get it. Knicks fans were all happy. Yeah, we beat the defending champions, in the conference semifinals. But like I said, heading into the conference finals, you got 2 more series to win. What if they would have lost game 3? All that hooting and hollering and celebrating? The hell to do that for you? Nothing. Because if they would have dropped the first 3 games to Indiana, all of the other teams would have been laughing at you. Oh, you celebrated defending the defending champions in 6 games. You were dancing in the streets, climbing things and, climbing buildings and whatever the hell you were doing in New York. Just being crazy. Mental. I get it. Your team hasn't been, the same since Patrick Ewing retired. And then, yeah, over the years they had Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire, yeah, whatever. But they didn't make a deep run to the playoffs like they have in the last 3-4 years combined. They have a good team. I will say that. Anunoby, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns was lured from Minnesota to come to New York. Obviously, you got Jalen Brunson. They have a great squad. Full of individuals that can get it done. But you have to rely on the whole team because, God forbid, what if Karl Anthony Towns was to foul out? What if Jalen Brunson was to foul out? Then who the hell are you going to turn into in the first place to get you points on the board? This is why I still think Indiana is the overall better team. Because the Indiana Pacers play as one solid, cohesive unit. Led by their head coach, Rick Carlisle. A former NBA champion, not just as a player, but as a head coach. And that is an excellent point by you, William. The difference is the benches. I absolutely agree with that. And that's the one thing I've been saying about the NBA postseason. If you ain't got a bench, then you ain't got shit. You need a bench to take the pressure off of the star players. And it's just unbelievable how Indiana is playing with such confidence, not just from their starting unit, but even from their reserving unit. I mean, their reserves will go in there and play hard-nosed basketball. Anybody on that team can be a threat, whether it be on defense, offense, just you name it. This Indiana team, they scare me. And like I said, game 4 is tonight. And if you are the Knicks, you have to win tonight. Switching over to the Western Conference Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder, led by MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is one victory away from the NBA Finals. Their first appearance since 2012. Their first appearance since Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden took that Thunder team to the finals. Myself, Kevin, and Joey were sitting together at times during this young Thunder tandems, era of KD, Westbrook, and Harden, wondering and thinking and pondering if and when is this team going to win a championship. They're going to win multiple championships because they're that good. Well, it took one finals appearance. Then after that, the team of those three blown up in the offseason. Harden was shipped off to the Rockets. Westbrook and KD stuck around for a couple more years. And their last conference finals appearance was the infamous one against the Golden State Warriors in 2016. Game 6. And who can forget about that game? Because I remember where I was at. I was sitting at the beach with my dad and his girlfriend and some friends of ours watching this game. And I could not believe what was on display in that game. Kevin Durant rushing shots, missing shots that he normally would make. Russell Westbrook turning the basketball over. Making bad selective shot, opportunities, selections, and missing them. The team unraveling before us, turning the ball over. Stephen Curry, and especially Klay Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, at the bottom of the hour. Unlike LeBron, he shows up when it matters the most and its meaningful minutes are given. JT, Joey Thornton, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm sorry I had to be a little late getting on tonight, but had some stuff to take care of. But now I'm here, ready to talk some sports, specifically some NBA playoffs, because I'm telling you one thing, we have been taken on a wild ride when it comes to these NBA playoffs. But enough of my shtick. Let's get into it, baby.
And I've been getting into it for the last 30 minutes, and I talked about the Eastern Conference Finals, but I do want to go back to that in a little bit. But just talking about this Thunder team, and their history, and I was kind of setting the table and talking about that infamous Game 6 against the Warriors for Oklahoma City in 2016. And I was telling the audience, I remember that game very well because I was sitting at the beach with my father and his girlfriend and some friends of ours. They were outside. I was inside watching the game. And I remember that game very well because KD and Westbrook were making bad shot selections, turning the ball over, and the team was unraveling before our very eyes. And Stephen Curry in Game 6, Klay Thompson emerged, shooting themselves back into the game and tying the series at 3 games apiece after dropping Game 5. And then in Game 7, the Thunder lost Game 7 at Oracle against Golden State after losing Game 6 and a golden opportunity to go back to the NBA Finals. And then obviously KD went on to join the Warriors and won 2 championships with the team, going to 3 NBA Finals in 5 years with the team. And then obviously the Thunder have been the same ever since. Westbrook the next year after that had the triple-double season. A couple years later, he was shipped off. He was done. Chris Paul came, didn't really do nothing. And then a couple years later, Gilgeous-Alexander comes over to the Thunder, and the rest was history. And now, looking at this Thunder team and where they are now, they are one victory away from the NBA Finals. And Joey, I've been yapping for the past 30 minutes. I want you to give me your thoughts on this series between the Warriors and the Timberwolves, because last night specifically last night. That was Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves' best shot to tie this series at 2 games apiece, but they blew it.
Yes, they did. And keep in mind, Anthony Edwards only took 13 shots the entire game and didn't take a single one, literally almost in the first quarter, because he went the first 11 minutes and 25 seconds without taking a shot. But I get that. I put that down as a win for the Thunder because after they literally got punched in the mouth in game 3, losing that blowout of a game, they were able to go in here and just say, hey guys, I know that we literally got punched in the mouth in game 3, but we don't need to be playing like that because we know we're a better team than that. And they knew that going into the game, their defense was going to have to step up. And step up it did. Yes, they did allow 126 points to Minnesota last night, but they could have allowed a lot more if their defense hadn't been so deadly, especially on Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, who, might I mention, were the game 3 heroes for Minnesota. So, I mean, the Thunder, they knew what they had to do. They went out and they got the job done. And now they find themselves one win away from a return trip to the NBA Finals. And quite honestly, this could not happen to a better team because I remember before the NBA playoffs even started, we all had our doubts. We all had our doubts about the Oklahoma City Thunder because this was their second straight year being the number one overall seed. And seeing as how they bowed out last year in the, I believe it was the conference finals or the semifinals to Dallas.
Yeah, second round, games, six
Yeah,
games.
second
Yes.
round to Dallas. Yep.
Yep.
They knew that they needed to take the bull by the horns and play the basketball that they've been playing throughout the regular season. Because, like we have said time and time and time and time again, regular season ball is great, but playoff ball is when you really got to step it up. Is when you really got to kick it into high gear and say to yourself, okay, we had a decent regular season, but we don't need to be choking like we did last year in the playoffs. So, I mean, the Western Conference has been a very competitive conference year in and year out because you never know who could advance out of the Western Conference. But this Timberwolves team, I mean, I get it. They're down 3 games to 1, but they actually have been playing some really great basketball because they took out a great team in the Warriors, even though Stephen Curry did not play all but one game in that series. And then they took out the Lakers, who the Lakers, they just, yeah, no. The Lakers just don't have it. Even with Luka Doncic on the squad.
No.
But
No.
Minnesota, you cannot take anything away from them because nobody was giving them a chance. As
Oh,
hard as it may sound, nobody was giving them a chance against the Lakers. They thought the Lakers were going to beat them in 5. Because I heard a lot of people saying this series is gonna go either 5 or 6, and the Lakers are gonna play the dominant ball that they've been used to playing, and they're gonna find a way to knock off the Timberwolves. Well, look what happened there. Timberwolves knocked them out in 5 because the Timberwolves they played that basketball like they knew they could. And yes, I know it's a bitter pill to swallow when you're down 3 games to 1 with game 5 going back to OKC, but if I'm Chris Finch, I will be looking at my players tomorrow night in the locker room and say, fellas, this might be it. This might be it. If we lose this game, our playoff run is over. Now, I know that we're a great team and we've hit strides that nobody ever thought we could hit. But this is game 5. We're down 3 games to 1. So tonight, it is put up or shut up.
Yep.
It is put up or shut up time. And I know the Thunder have been really relying on their defense. And if they want to finish off the series on their home court tomorrow night, they're going to have to play that same defense that they played in game 4. And also knock down free throws. But yeah, this is a very competitive series despite it being 3 games to 1 because you never know. Minnesota could sprout out of nowhere and completely knock Oklahoma City off their game and take the next 3 games. You never know.
You
It's
never
possible.
know. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So the Thunder, if they want to go back to the NBA Finals, then they need to go or they need to prove to their fans that they belong. They need to prove to their fans that they are deserving of the number 1 seed. And they also need to bring Cleveland in for a defensive lesson and say, hey guys, you were the number 1 team in the East, but you got your butt skunked in the second round
Yeah. Against Indiana.
against Indiana, which, by the way, Indiana, New York, one hell of a series, but of course, we'll get to that here in just a minute.
Yep. And I'll
But
get your thoughts
yeah,
on that. Yep.
yes, the Thunder, they have been, they are the youngest team right now in this NBA. They are the youngest team, but yet they're playing like a bunch of veterans. They're playing the way they need to play, and they're not relying on just one person. Yes, I know SGA was the MVP. I get that. But there's also other role players on the Thunder that have pulled their weight.
Such as Jalen
Players
Williams.
like Jalen
Yep.
players like Jalen Williams, players like Chet Holmgren, players like I can never pronounce his first name right, but his last name is Dort because Dort is a defensive mastermind.
Yeah.
He is an absolute defensive mastermind. I mean, he made the All NBA first team
And
on
also
defense for.
don't forget Caruso.
Yeah, yes, Alex Caruso, yes, Alex Caruso. That I'm gonna steal a quote from Kevin from the show last week. Them getting Alex Caruso was the best thing that could have happened to Oklahoma City because Alex Caruso, that is a defensive minded player who's not afraid to put up a jump shot if he's
No,
asked to.
he is not, and he's not afraid to take the opposite team's best player too.
Exactly. He is not afraid to do it. And quite honestly, I believe he was the primary defender on Anthony Edwards last night, and look what happened.
You would be correct.
I mean, Caruso is a defensive mastermind. So altogether, this is one complete team by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if they continue to play this ball like they have been, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be a dynasty sooner rather than later.
And it's interesting you bring that up because talking about Anthony Edwards and how he struggled in game 4, if people are hyping you to be the best player or Jordan-esque, put your money where your mouth is. There is no way in the world that even LeBron or Kobe or Tim Duncan or Shaq in his prime, or Hakeem Olajuwon, you name it. I can name any star player from the NBA that has ever existed and played this great sport. They would have not
Kevin
taken,
Garnett.
yeah, Garnett, any player I can think of off the top of my head. Any of these players would have not taken 13 shots. You have to jack up shots in order to give your team a chance to win. Because Anthony Edwards is the number 1 superstar on this Minnesota team. And who knows, maybe if Ant-Man would have become, more aggressive, on the offensive side of the basketball, maybe the Timberwolves would have won game 4. Instead, they had to rely on their role players to get back in the game. I mean, DiVincenzo was hitting threes. He scored over 20 plus points. And Walker hit some shots. But come on, man. Like you gotta assert yourself. Anthony Edwards did not assert himself in that offensive side of the ball last night. I was shocked. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Gilgeous Alexander at least was actually taking shots and making shots. He had 40 points last night.
Which, by the way, real quick, with his performance last night, SGA has now joined KD and Russell Westbrook as the only players in Thunder history to put up 40 points in the conference finals game.
Nope. That's hell of a company right there to be joining.
Yeah, and also for the T-Wolves' sake, turning the ball over 22 times is not going to win you a ball game.
The Denver Nuggets found out the hard way in Game 7. 22 turnovers, yeah. 37 points.
Yep, turning the ball over 22 times in that game last night is not going to get you a golden ticket.
No, it's not. It's going to get you exit stage left out of the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, it's put up or shut up for Minnesota in Game 5 tomorrow. Now, switching over back to the conference finals in the Eastern Conference, I gave my analysis. I gave my thoughts on this series so far. But, Jolie, what are your thoughts heading in about the so far with this series and heading into Game 4 tonight?
Well, whether people want to agree with me or not, based on everything we've seen in the regular season compared to what we've seen in the playoffs, there is no doubt in my mind that, in my opinion, the Pacers and the Knicks are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yep.
So this matchup could not have gone any other way. This matchup could not be any better because the Pacers and the Knicks, they play such hard-knocked, smash-mouth basketball that it's almost worth getting a front row seat every time these two teams take the court because both these teams just have that competitive nature around them. And not only that, but the stories that the Pacers and the Knicks have had so far in these playoffs. I mean, the Pacers are, let me just start this way. Whenever a team is up by, let's just say, 7 seconds with 50 so seconds to go, otherwise known as clutch time. All the teams that have been in that spot are combined 4 and some number in the thousands. I can't really think of it right offhand. But you know what's even more amusing is that the Pacers have 3 of those wins in this postseason. 3 of those 4 wins have come this postseason for Indiana. That is almost unheard of. And not to mention New York, not once, not twice, but 3 times, including Game 3 the other night, New York has come back from 20 points down to pull off the victory. So, I mean, I get it that people may not think that the Pacers and the Knicks are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference, but based on what I have seen in this series, I mean, both teams have star-powered role players. I mean, look at the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Carl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. I mean, and also not to mention the Pacers with the Pacers for Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, as well as Naismith and I can't think of that other player, but
Turner.
yes, Miles Turner. There you go.
And
And
ladies and gentlemen, the power has been restored. What's up, Bez?
So,
what's up,
guys,
Ezra?
Joey, good to see you back on the show, brother.
Good to have you back too, bro.
I know it's been a minute since I last saw you. Hopefully, everything's going well and all that shit on your end of the spectrum.
Oh yeah, everything is going good now.
All right, great, man. So, you
It
guys
was a
talk.
really rough time those 3 weeks that I was unable to be on the show, but everything is fixed now and everything is good to go.
All right, cool, man. So, what are you guys discussing right now?
Talking about the
We're
conference
discussing
finals.
the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and the Knicks right now.
Look, as much as I don't trust the Knicks at all, and we don't in this group, look, I'm not going to deny and say that they don't have the ability to at least come back and win another game and try tonight to make it close. Look, I'm an Indiana fan all the way through. I will support Indiana through this because obviously I live in Indiana. I mean, obviously my team's the Bulls, but when it comes down to it, I'm going to be a Pacers fan in these playoffs. But Indiana's just got so much firepower, though. Like you said, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Naismith has been a fucking secret weapon to the Pacers' offense. I mean, look what he had the other night in game two. He was an absolute monster. Especially from the 3-point range, where some of the Pacers players were struggling, especially in that fourth quarter. Naismith came in there and lit it up.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 threes in a row. Just
Yeah, he hit 5 or 6 threes in a row, and he was pretty good for the night as far as that goes. I think he had like 37 points.
something like that. I'll tell you another guy that is also a secret weapon, and I feel stupid for not bringing this guy up, but TJ McConnell. McConnell is also
Yes,
another
TJ
secret
McConnell.
weapon.
Yes.
Yeah, McConnell's another one. This Pacers team has got a lot of weapons at its disposal whenever they need to rest, or whenever they need to rest, like Halliburton or whoever to get in foul trouble. So, I mean, Pacers team is a little more complete, but I'm not sleeping on Jalen Brunson at all. I'm not sleeping on any of that team right now because they got the opportunity to put this game back in reach, and if they can do it tonight, tie the series up, it's going to be It's going to be interesting going forward. I have a feeling Indiana's going to come back tonight with vengeance because last time they stepped off the gas pedal, and that was a big mistake, and that let New York get back into that game.
Yeah, and
Carl
like I
Anthony
was
Towns had an
saying,
incredible performance in game three. 24 points.
absolutely. And like I was saying before you came on, is the storyline or the story that these two teams have brought forth heading into the series and throughout this series, like I mentioned, um, whenever a team is down by 7 with like 50 seconds to go in the game, otherwise known as crunch time,
Yep.
the Pacer or team or all the combined teams are like have a combined record of 4 and like some number in the thousands. I can't really think of it right now.
And
But the
Indiana alone
Pacers,
this year was 7-0.
yeah, and the Pacers have 3 of those 4 wins in this postseason. 3. That is almost unheard of. And not to mention on the New York side of things, like I mentioned just a little bit ago, not once, not twice, but 3 times this postseason, New York has come back from 20 points down to win the game.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not sleeping on New York when it comes to this game tonight because if you do, it's going to be if you sleep on New York, if you're Indiana thinking, oh, we got this in the bag, we're going to take this 3-1. If your confidence is too high, you get too cocky. New York is going to make them pay severely, and Indiana does not need to lose any more steam or any more of that because if they do, it's going to lead to problems coming up not only tonight but in games 4 and 5 if it comes down to it. So,
Yeah.
have you guys talked about the Western Conference yet?
We have, yes.
Yes, that was the first one we talked about.
Okay, let me give a couple thoughts on that. First of all, I want to say, to me, one of the secret weapons of Oklahoma City is a guy I know very well, and that is Alex Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
His deep,
Yes, Alex
he,
Caruso.
he has a stifling defense. He just sticks to you like glue when you're going down. Whether it's it doesn't matter who it is on that team, man. You could be any of those players. If Caruso's guarding you, you're gonna have trouble getting a shot off because that dude knows how to defend and defend well. And he stifled a lot of players. I know he did in Chicago. Not only that, he's a great 3-point shooter and great perimeter shooter too. He's quick, and so I
Yes,
think
he
that's
is.
one of the keys to the Thunder's success is Caruso and his defense. Um, I mean, if you look at this from this perspective, they're a 3-1 deficit at this point. I think Oklahoma City's got this wrapped up, but I cannot, you know, when it comes to Anthony Edwards, and it's a tough call because I can't undermine how good Memphis was this season, despite anything and everything that went down with that team. I will say this. Another for the Thunder, Holmgren. Holmgren has been a fucking nightmare for that Memphis Grizzly team. He's a big guy, who can shoot threes. He's great in the paint. He's good in the perimeter, and he's great defensive. He's great at getting defensive rebounds. He had a massive block. He had a massive block in the last game. So this is gonna be interesting to see how Memphis plays coming up at Game 5. They better play with that level of intensity they had that won them that one game, and where they just absolutely dominated. But we'll see.
Because there's one thing that I keep going back to when it comes to OKC is how they do not want a repeating problem pattern that they had with Golden State 9 years ago. They're up 3-1. They lost Game 5, and they ended up losing Game 6. And then they lost the series in Game 7. Because Anthony Edwards did not take but only 13 shots in Game 4. Game 4.
Yeah,
And
13 shots.
In Game 5, he's got to assert himself. He's got to be aggressive. If he's not aggressive, Minnesota's done. He is like the number one guy that can get his shot. He can create his own shot. He's like they still got some talented players, DiVincenzo and Walker and Naz Reid. Rudy Gobert in the paint. They have some really good players, but Anthony Edwards by far is the one guy who can create his own shot. And if he ain't shooting the ball, then they don't have a shot in hell to win another game in this series.
Nope.
Because how do you go from Game 3, you blew Oklahoma City up by 42 points, beat their asses, and then in Game 4 last night, he's like, just whatever, just shows up, puts on the uniform, goes out there, puts on the jersey, and goes out there and plays and just whatever. Like, come on, man. This is Game 4 of the conference finals. And like I've been saying to you guys off air and on air, you cannot take possessions off on offense and defense because every possession on both ends of the basketball matters. You cannot take plays off at all.
Absolutely. And also, like I mentioned before you came on, the Timberwolves committing 22 turnovers in that game last night is not going to get you anywhere.
No, it's not. Because when I turned on the game, it was at 19 turnovers right after Monday Night Raw. And when I heard that 19 turnovers, I'm like, sheesh. Yeah, what is this team doing? Like, why did play so sloppy with the damn ball? There is some things they got to tighten up. They got to tighten up, of course. The turnovers, but they also got to. The other role players have got to step up this game. They can't just rely on Anthony Edwards. They can't just rely on Rudy Gobert. They can't just rely on Alexander Walker. They got to get their other players involved. You can't just expect Anthony Edwards to score, 40, 45 points and then win the game. Your other players got to step up this game, and you've got to play with an intensity that is comparable to some of your other big wins where you were up by like 30 or 40. You have to come in there with that intensity and that drive of knowing this is do or die. You have to play hard. You have to play smart.
And that's a great point, as because let's say if Anthony Edwards comes out and he's too aggressive and he has 45 points or 50 points, what may have you. At that point, you're trying to overtake the game by yourself. And you can't do that either.
It's not only that, you're also exhausting your top player by him having to do all the work. I know these players are well-conditioned athletes and everything, but you can't just have one person take the entire team by himself. You got like just any game. It doesn't matter. Football, basketball, hockey. You know, it doesn't matter what sport it is. Baseball, it's a team effort. And if one player is the only one that's stepping up and getting those points, runs, whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to contribute and everybody has to play their part. And if Memphis cannot get everybody on the same page and cannot force the issue, this series is done as of tomorrow. This Memphis will be going home.
And we shall see if SGA and Oklahoma City can be the first team to go to the NBA Finals, and the Thunder can end that drought and go to the finals for the first time since 2012.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, what's on tap next? Steven, you're leading the show right now, so what do you want to talk about?
I am. I guess while we're at it, I guess we can go ahead and give our top 5 games.
Well, actually, Steven, hold on real quick. I mean, there is a couple of NFL notes I think there was from this recent from this past week I do want to get into, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a few things. They're not vitally important, but they're just things that I want to contribute here to the show. First off, I want to say congratulations to the cast that around the horn. You guys know that show on ESPN?
Yes.
Yes.
Show.
Love that show.
Ran for over 23 years, nearly 5,000 episodes, 4,953 episodes, 61 panelists. Some of the most popular being Woody Page, Kevin Blackistone, Tim Collishaw, J.A. Adonde, and Bill
Jay Mariotti.
Yep, and Bill Plaschke.
Bill Plaschke.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely want to send our congratulations to them for that. You know, it sucks that the show has ended, but it's a one hell of a run to run 23 years on ESPN. So congratulations to the cast of Around the Horn. Let's see. We're here. Wyand standout. Aiden Hutchinson has been cleared to return to football activities.
I read that the other day. Yes.
That's some good news for them.
It's going to be a huge plus for Denver. I mean, sorry, not Denver, Detroit.
Yep.
Absolutely. It definitely is. And then speaking of pluses to teams, 49ers locking down Fred Warner on a 3-year contract extension through the 2029 season.
Yep. Including $56 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Making him the highest paid linebacker in the NFL in the modern era of the NFL.
Absolutely, man. That sounds cool. But also too, some news from the college football world, since we're talking about football at this point. The 12-team college football playoff will move to a straight seeding model this fall, rewarding the selection committee's top 4 teams with the top 4 seeds and a first-round bye.
Which is the right thing to do. Because last year, whenever they did this 12-team playoff, all 4 teams that had the first round bye lost their game.
Yes, they did.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Giants first round pick Abdul Carter signed his 4-year, fully guaranteed $45.2 million contract.
Yeah, man. Saying just a little bit before that, Titans' first overall draft pick, Cam Ward, signed a 4-year, fully guaranteed $48.7 million contract.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And of course, we cannot, not talk about football without, of course, the unfortunate and sad news that broke last week, and that is the passing of the
Yeah, the passing
legendary,
of Colts owner Jim Irsay.
yep, legendary, legendary coach, legendary owner. Um, just, I mean, well respected in the Colts organization beyond so many players and so many greats out there, just sending their well wishes, and we do too. Jim Irsay was also a big music head. He was a collector of vintage music memorabilia, and he would do free mobile museums at different areas of the United States. He would bring some of his collection, like the Jaguar guitar that Kurt Cobain played in Smells Like Teen Spirit video by Nirvana. He has that, and he brought it to a mobile museum and let people come in for free and take a look at it. And it's pretty cool. And big music head, and just overall, it sucks that he's on.
He had some of the most incredible, like historical, musical instrument, pieces of history, such as the kit that Ringo Starr played on the Ed Sullivan Show, and
Yep.
guitars, by Gilmore. I mean, God, you name it. Like this guy, he was a
handwritten,
musical historian.
yep, handwritten lyrics.
Yup. Just unreal, man. Like, and I can't remember. I don't believe I listened to the interview that he did with Eddie Lott, but I heard it was really good. And I'm hoping they'll air that at some point, because I think if I did catch it, I may have caught the tail end, but I didn't. I don't think I remember hearing the whole interview, but I heard it was really good, and you said it was really good.
Yep.
I mean, and Eddie talked about it on the show too, and just like, and what's also very known about Jim is that he had his battles with addiction, and everybody goes through their trials and tribulations, no matter what it is. And unfortunately, addiction can play a role, and we don't know what happened. We're not, so, but no matter what, we still are heartbroken and saddened of his passing. And we send our condolences, our thoughts, and our prayers to his family and friends that knew him and loved him. And everybody from Pat McAfee and Peyton Manning and,
Tony Dungy.
Tony Dungy and Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, was there with the Colts. And it's, countless and countless players. Dwight Freeney and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, and just lots of great players. And
so Steven, here are some of the items that Jim Irsay had. That he bought. We know is a big collector of sports, pop culture, literature, and American history memorabilia. He owned the famous belt from the Rumble in the Jungle that Muhammad Ali won over George Foreman. He has that. It was worth. He won it at $6.18 million. Like you said, he's got the Ringo Starr's drums from the Ed Sullivan Show. He's got Pink Floyd guitarist David Gilmour's $3.9 million black Strat. He has a 200-year-old copy of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, wow.
He has the saddle used by jockey Ron Turco to ride Secretariat into the history books. He has a hat that was supposed to be given to that was supposed to be given from former Texas Governor John Connolly to present to John Kennedy at an event a few hours after Kennedy was killed in 1963. So he owned some amazing memorabilia. He owned it.
Yes, he
It.
did.
It was, one big time collector. But he definitely will be missed. He's missed by the entire NFL community, sports community. And Jim Irsay's final tweet: "Go Pacers! Good luck to her, the entire Pacers organization, and our city." That was his final tweet.
Yep, and also not to mention Jim Irsay always had my respect because he was one of the OGs that started the whole movement of getting that toxic waste of an NFL owner out of Washington named Dan Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
So
He was one of the OGs. Much respect to him. Much respect.
absolutely. Some other news real quick. 60 years ago, 2 days ago, actually, May 25th, was the famous photo was taken of Muhammad Ali after he knocked down Sonny Liston in just 1 minute and
Yep,
44
Sonny
seconds.
Liston. Yep.
Yep. That moment happened 60 years ago. 2 days ago, actually.
Wow.
Yes. Also too, real quick here. Yep. Before we move on, coming July 10th, of course, will be EA Sports College Football 26.
Oh yeah.
I believe that was the official cover, right?
Yeah, there's
Or was
like
that
two covers.
I
One
saw
with like all the players on it or most of the players on it, and then a separate cover with
Yeah.
Alabama receiver Ryan Williams and I think a player from Clemson.
Yeah, because I see the one with all the players and the mascots is the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Also, too, real quick, it was announced earlier today that the late great Demaryius Thomas will be inducted into the Ring of Fame at Mile High.
Well deserved. Demaryius
Awesome.
Thomas was a great receiver. He was a speedster.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Shoot. He's the one that caught that pass from Tim Tebow when they beat the Steelers in that playoff game years ago.
Yep. And obviously he flourished in Peyton Manning's offense.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
All right, Steven. Now that I took over for like fucking 20 minutes, here's your show back now.
I yeah, you yeah, we all yeah. Well, we gave our top we gave our top 5 games of the NFL schedule for our favorite teams last week, and to continue that theme, we're going to be giving our top 5 games overall of the schedule. Doesn't matter if it's prime time or early in the afternoon or a holiday game or what may have you, but the NFL season, before you know it, will be here. And when it comes, oh, we're going to be super excited and cannot wait to be covering that in a couple of months. Of course, as we begin always with our conference previews for both the NFC and the AFC, starting out with the AFC. And I look forward to doing that in the month of August. But tonight, we are here to give our top 5 games of the overall schedule for the 2025 NFL regular season. And who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead and start first, but before
All
I
right.
give my list, Ezra, you shouldn't feel bad about dominating the show for about 20 minutes because everybody deserves their 3 minutes of fame at some point.
Wait. Did you just say 3 minutes?
Yes, I believe I said 3 minutes.
And if it wasn't for copyright, I would play that song right now.
Yep.
God damn you, copyright infringement.
Yes.
All
ahead,
right,
Joey.
I will go ahead and give my top 5 games for the year, and let me tell you, this was not an easy list to come up with.
Yeah, 'cause
This
you're trying
was
to
not
man.
an easy list to come up with because I had so many high profile games that I could have put in my top five. But I'm just like, you know what? I got to stick with these five games right here because there is a bunch of star players playing in each game, a bunch of storylines behind these games, and it's just unbelievable. So, with that being said, allow me to give my top five games overall for the NFL season. Number five, I have the Week 16 matchup between the Eagles and my Commanders because one, we're playing on a Saturday, and two, this is the first time that we played the Eagles all year since that drubbing we received back in the NFC Championship game last season. So, with Washington being the home team, I got a feeling that they're going to come out and wipe that 55-23 drubbing from the NFC Championship last year and just go out and play the best football they can. Play the best football they can. Number four, I have a early matchup, week 3 to be exact. Monday Night Football, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions going into Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. You better believe that is going to be an excellent game, especially with Aiden Hutchinson back in full gear for the Detroit Lions. I mean, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry may have a tough time running on this Lions defense.
Mhm.
Number 3, I have week number 6, also in prime time on Sunday Night Football. The same Detroit Lions team going into Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Because keep in mind, this is the first matchup between these two since Detroit shocked Kansas City in the season opener last year.
Just hey, real quick, Joey, just to let you guys know, uh, the KT Carl Anthony Towns is already in foul trouble.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
wow.
Not even 5 minutes in, he's already got 2 fouls.
Come on,
Oh
man.
my gosh.
He
All
just
right
said
now, Towns.
he just said pull out. Go ahead, continue. Sorry, Joey.
Oh, you're good. You're
Right
good.
now it's 16-13 Indiana.
All right. Number 2, I have the opening week of the regular season. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens going into Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills. You know that's going to be a great way to start off week 1. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember if that game was in prime time or not.
It is in prime time.
It is in prime time. Yeah, I believe that's the Sunday Night Football game, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And then my number 1 game, I kind of hate to steal from my Commanders list, but I am just so excited about this one game that it is keeping me on the edge of my seat. My number 1 game for my Commanders is my number 1 overall game for this year, and that is week number 8 on Monday Night Football, the first ever matchup between Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
Good. Oh, all right. I'll go next. For me, number 5. And this was tough to pick 5. I'm telling you this now.
Yeah.
Uh, number 5 for me is going to be a game that I'm looking forward to. Probably, I could have put this easily at number 1, but with this list being so hard, I got to go Detroit and Kansas City Sunday Night Football, week
Okay.
6. I think that's going to be a battle. It's going to be a true test for Detroit with the coaching change, Ben Johnson heading to Chicago.
Yep.
It's going to see how Detroit
And
reacts to
Aaron
that.
Glenn leaving for the Jets.
And obviously, the Chiefs are coming off the Super Bowl loss, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play here in this game. Like I said, Aiden Hutchinson's going to be back in lineup more than likely. So that extra, force in there with Detroit, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Number 4, I'm going to dig from my other list, the Bears versus the Commanders.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued by this matchup. This is year 2 for Caleb Williams. Take it on Jaden Daniels, who's, let me tell you, I am beyond impressed with this kid. I am beyond impressed with him. And you know what? I cannot wait to see this battle between the two young guns and hope and it's gonna and like I said, this will be one of the true big tests with Coach Ben Johnson. So I'm ready to go for this. This is gonna be damn good.
Yeah, saying, isn't that one of the Monday Night Football games that week?
I believe so,
oh,
yes.
yeah, I want to say it is in prime time. Yeah.
Number 3.
Well, hang on, Ezra. Before you go on, you might want to tell Tyreek Stevenson to not mock our fans again.
Yeah, Steven, come on, dude. Come on, sir, get it
Anyways,
together.
continue.
Continue. Yes.
God damn, man. This is number 3. I'm gonna go with a game here that right here. I'm gonna go with another Kansas City game. And that is Kansas City and Buffalo, week 9. Two laser focused quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Patrick. I mean, how much better can you get? And it's going to be at Highmark Stadium. It's going to be at Highmark Stadium, obviously in November. So it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little cool.
Yep.
It's going to be a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I know Kansas City's used to playing a little bit cooler weather, obviously, somewhat. But this is going to be home turf for Buffalo, especially when it's colder. The elements work for them. I'm excited for this matchup. It's a 4:25 p.m. Eastern start, so good afternoon game. Number
Just
2.
checked. Yes. Sorry, real quick. The Commanders and Chicago game, it is in prime time.
Okay, perfect.
Monday Night Football.
Great. It's going to be good. Let's see here. Number
Bring it on,
3.
Ez.
What's up?
Hold on, Ez.
What's up? What are you checking?
You got something, Joey?
That's what we're doing?
I was telling Ezra, bring it on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I was wondering what the hell's going on. I was like, what? Another Detroit game. Detroit at Philadelphia.
Yes.
Week 11. Another Sunday Night Football clash. This is going to be a good one. And number 1, come on. You know I can't go number 1 without the oldest matchup in the history of football. The Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Green Bay Packers. And I'm picking the game at Lambeau.
Ooh, even better.
Oh,
I believe that game is going to be week. I'm trying to remember what week it is.
I want to say it's 16.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm checking right now. I'm looking up the schedule. NFL website's being a little funky right now, but okay.
Let's see. Week 16. They're in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's
Oh,
week
is
30.
it? Oh, I want to say it's 7.
No, I think it's earlier than that, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's earlier than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. My browser's acting funky, so hang on. Bears versus Packers. I love technology.
Yeah, you gotta love technology.
Let's see. I typed in Bears schedule and he gave me the damn schedule for last season. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Wow.
Like, I don't care about last season. This is stupid. But I think it's like week 13 or 14. Because I think the games are only a couple games apart.
Let's see. Come on.
Week 14.
I was
14. Okay.
Yeah, week 14. Looking at it right now.
Yep. I've been looking forward to that game. That's a December game, right?
Yep, December 7th.
Yep.
Ooh. And then
Oh, yeah.
I want to throw in an honorary mention though, real quick. I do. And that is the Black Friday game versus the Eagles at 1:00 on Black Friday.
Yep, on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and also when your Commanders take on the Cowboys too is an honorary mention because I know J.D. Daniels is going to throw like 5 touchdowns and have like 400 yards. J.D. Daniels is going to have a career game against the Cowboys, and it's going to be hilarious to watch. All right, Steven.
Yeah, seeing as how the Cowboys have already been eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, what else is new?
Yeah, they're already in postseason mode.
Yes, they are.
Steven, floor's yours.
Yep. So my list, and it's so hard to rank these games because I'm excited for all of them. So they're really not going to be in any particular order. Because God, they're just going through these games again and just looking at some of these games, like there's so many good games on the schedule. I would say one that definitely jumps off the grid for me is the Bills and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. I mean, that is going to be one electrifying game. And speaking of the Ravens, another game that pops off the grid, Cincinnati, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That's going to be an amazing game. Amazing game because every time Cincinnati and Baltimore hook it up, it's going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out kind of game. Another game that pops off is definitely the Commanders in Chicago because I'm just so intrigued on how Jaden's going to do against Caleb. And considering that, the Bears have a coach who actually knows how to call timeouts, wink, wink, and actually knows how to call. I think Eberflus is still.
I think he's still on the Detroit sideline.
I think he is. Yeah, right now. He's still wanting that timeout back. But
that's
yeah.
where he belongs.
He needs to go on the darkness retreat just like Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, and we don't even know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do yet. And speaking of that as well, isn't it kind of funny how the Steelers played the Jets in Week 1, and we don't even know what Rodgers is going to do.
You know what's even more hilarious is that Rodgers said in an interview that he doesn't want to go to the Saints and that he doesn't want to live in New Orleans because he says it's too hot down there.
It's too hot down there. Pussy.
Oh, please. You big
You
crybaby.
lived in pure darkness for a fucking however long, you fucking moron.
Anyways, continuing, I definitely would say the Eagles and the Lions game is a game that I'm very excited for because, I mean, Philadelphia's high-flying offense. Detroit's high-flying offense. And the other game, I mean, again, it's so hard to pick and choose because I could have picked, of course, Buffalo and Kansas City, with their game happening. I could have picked, one of the Bears and Packers games because those games always seem to deliver. But the game that kind of intrigues me the most is the Chiefs and the Eagles in the rematch of the Super Bowl. Because
Week 2.
how is Mahomes going to respond against the champs? I mean, could have gone so many different ways with this list because there's just so many games. I mean, there's obviously the kickoff game between Dallas and Philadelphia. There's the Commanders versus the Ravens. Like you said, Joey, the Commanders and Lions play. I mean, my God. I mean, just an incredible schedule. I mean, it just goes to show that I ain't picking those Niners games because our schedule sucks. And Kevin said it himself last week that their schedule sucks. It does.
You guys get the schedule in the entire NFL.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to these games, and again, it's really hard to pick a definitive top five because when you start looking at these games again and dissecting them, and just man,
Yeah.
so many great games on dock for next year.
Oh, absolutely. Quick update. Pacers are up 37-30 with
Ooh.
3:22 or with 2:19 left in the first.
And like Joey said, or no, yeah, that Karl Anthony Towns is in foul trouble. Crazy.
Yep.
By the way, Halliburton
Two
three,
fouls.
3 for 3 on 3-pointers right now.
That's a good sign.
Also, some breaking news coming out of the WWE side. Tonight, we have a new NXT North American champion. His name is Ethan Page.
Wow.
Ethan and Ego were kicking off the show, but it ended in a brawl. So
Dang.
Ava said we got to have a winner, and they decided to keep going with the rules, thrown out. And as they separated them, there was a chair that was open on the ground with the chair facing downwards and the legs up. So when they separated, Ego grabbed Ricky real quick and hit him with the twist of fate through the chair bar in the middle.
Oh, wow.
And that eventually led to the victory for Ethan now. And also tonight, the main event will be Stephanie McCare versus JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship.
Nice.
So I wanted to quickly update that real quick. Steven, yeah, definitely there's a lot of great games coming up. I'm excited for the NFL season. Obviously, when it gets closer, we're going to do our previews and stuff for what we think is going to happen.
I do want to mention real quick
predictions
as well, the Florida Panthers are up 3-1 against the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes finally got on the board, winning their first conference finals game in the NHL in the Eastern Conference for the first time since 2006. And this series is pretty much done, but we know in the game of hockey, anything can happen. Game 5 in Raleigh is tomorrow.
Yeah, Stanley Cup Finals or the Stanley Cup playoffs are getting interesting. So I'm liking that. So,
oh man, what a great play by Siakam right there.
Yep, and an offensive foul.
Oh, yep, there it is. The offensive foul right there.
Oh, they went over the line. I don't know what the name of that violation is when they go back over the line.
Over and back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, backcourt violation.
Yeah, backcourt violation, yeah. So it's been a good game so far. Oh. Pacers got that bucket. But yeah, definitely there's a lot going on in the world of sports, and it's been a busy week. I mean, we got the NHL playoffs going on. We got the NBA playoffs, of course. The NFL season shaping as we move forward. Contracts are getting signed. Players are getting healthy. Baseball. Joey, what's going on with your Atlanta Braves so far? Can you give us an update?
Well, I mean, there's not really much I can say. I mean, we finally got Acuna and Strider back from the injury list, but we're still below 500. But we have made some pretty good strides since we started the season 0-7. And of course, we're now trying to become the first team in MLB history to make the playoffs after start the season 0-7. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the Braves have good games and then they have bad games. Not really much I can say.
Yeah, same thing with my White Sox. My Sox have been kind of up and down, up and down. Haven't played the best ball this season, but they're trying. And same thing with the Cubs. Cubs are the same way. So, I know Hijacker mentioned to us last night that maybe a possibility that we could see him in the next few minutes. With a little bit of a report from the minor league team that he goes to. but we'll see. That's going to be up to timing, so we'll see how it goes. But he got Bryce Harper got hit by a pitch on the right elbow. He had to leave. He had to exit the game in the first inning. After that happened, X-rays though came back negative, so that's a good start. Shohei Ohtani became the first player to 20 homers in major leagues this season.
Already.
Shohei playing on an elite level right now, man.
Oh, yeah. Big players doing big things.
A squirrel invaded the Tigers' bullpen.
Oh, was he trying to find a nut?
Well, they are sponsored by Meyer. There should be some Meyer brand walnuts somewhere. I can say that because I don't work there anymore.
Quick score update, gents. End of the first quarter, Pacers on top, 43-35.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been pretty close, man. It's been
That's a high scoring first quarter.
It is. It's a very high scoring first quarter.
Yeah.
That's the one thing with this Pacers team, like I was talking about, is that this team is a very scrappy bunch and a very unselfish group.
So yeah, a black squirrel was on the loose at Comerica Park and it scurried over to Detroit bullpen. Tigers reliever wanted to see what it's about. As soon as he peered through the chain link fence at the level of the warning track, the squirrel leaped into his line of vision and startled him.
Lord.
Wow.
Yeah, and left fielder Riley Green was unfazed when that squirrel made its trip around the outfield. And play-by-play man Jason Benetti put out there, Riley Green's like, who invited Rocky? Like, hey, Rocky, wants me to pull a rabbit out of my hat? But that's all I got in the world of the major leagues. Let's see. Anything else in the world of? You got anything else, Steven? As far as since you're technically the host tonight, you got anything?
I think I'm pretty much good as far as the world of sports, but I do want to bring up in the world of wrestling what a great weekend of wrestling it was overall, highlighted by both AEW and WWE putting on events over this weekend, and a couple of matches that stand out to me. Stephanie versus Jordan Grace at NXT Battleground. That was an incredible match by those two women. And then also Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page tore the house down.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to Joe and Trick, who put on a great performance.
And what a shocking hell of a moment right there.
Tell me about it.
History-making moment. That's what it's about. And I know some fans aren't happy about it. Some are. I'm excited to see where this goes. Obviously, this is more leaning in towards partnership between WWE and TNA. So I'm excited for that. Also, another quick shout out to Anarchy in the Arena. Outside of one or two little things, I thought it was a fun as hell match. I thought everybody put their hearts into it. Obviously, it's not your cup of tea. You're not going to see a lot of selling. You're not going to see a lot of, traditional wrestling in this match. It's crazy wild brawl throughout the entire arena. Anything goes. Nothing is off limits. Whether it's playing music like Drowning Pool Bodies throughout while they're battling.
That was cool. That was cool.
Or whether it was freaking Swerve riding on a forklift and jumping off it to give the swerve stomp to the Bucks. Or
and then Willow even hooking it up with the boys. Killing it.
Yeah, taking shots with John Moxley and Claudio and Wheeler. It was pretty cool. And then a big shout out to the end too with Kenny Omega hitting the one-winged angel off the stage through an exploding table. Kenny hit through that table.
And that was the kaboom.
It looked brutal. I'm telling you, Steven, I know you can't see it, but man, it looked awesome. and then of course Swerve with his new shoes covered in thumbtacks, fucking doing the Swerve stomp and getting the pinfall on the match. So I thought it was a really, really fun match. Not your typical wrestling match. There's not going to be everybody's not going to like it, but it is what it is. It's part of what it is. And um, you talk about a great wrestling week, great wrestling weekend. Obviously, we got another one coming up next weekend. We got Money in the Bank. We got other events. We've also got one of my
Worlds
favorite
collide.
Worlds Collide. And then on the independent side, you have what's considered the bloodiest weekend of the year, Tournament of Survival for GCW, and Cage of Survival. which you guys, if you guys don't know, Tournament of Survival is a 1-day deathmatch tournament where 10 of the best deathmatch wrestlers will compete in some of the most violent, bloody matches you will ever see. And the winner becomes the winner of TOS 10. It's gonna be violent. It's not for everybody, but if you enjoy that type of stuff, you will. And then Cage of Survival, which will feature regular matches as well as the infamous Cage of Survival, which is a cage that has barbed wire, light tubes, glass, anything you can think of violent wise.
What a play.
Busted plate. It's gonna be up there. It's gonna rank up there, and that'll feature two old friends, former tag team partners, Ciclope and Miedo Extremo, formerly of Los Macizos, who will settle their differences inside the Cage of Survival. And also, Atticus Cogar versus Joey Janela in a dog collar match.
Nice.
And I guarantee you we'll also see KJ Orso versus Sam Stackhouse. I guarantee you. It's going to happen eventually. So, but I mean, we got that coming up. It's going to be an awesome weekend. It's great. I'm excited for wrestling right now, and wrestling's been fun, and it's going to continue to be fun as long as everything holds true. But also I want to plug real quick UFC, the next big UFC event, UFC 315, which will take place June 7th, the same weekend as Money in the Bank and Tournament of Survival and Worlds Collide. You got two big matches that are going to be on this card that will definitely want you to get this pay-per-view. And that is Mirav Dvalishvili is going to defend his bantamweight title against Sean O'Malley.
Ooh.
And Juliana Pena will defend her UFC women's bantamweight championship against the former two-time gold medalist in judo, Kayla Harrison.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yep. Also, Kelvin Gastelum will take on Joe Pyfer. Mario Batista will take on Apache Mix. And Vincente Luque will take on Kevin Holland. That is your main card. So the main card, of course, will start at 10 Eastern. Go to ESPN Plus, Disney, or if you have Disney Plus, ESPN Plus with Disney Plus, you can get it. You go on there and pay. Of course, it's an extra charge. Why not? But that's going to be a big card coming up here on pay-per-view. But I think that's all I have right now, Steven.
I think that's it for me as well.
So, for Game 4, not only is Pat McAfee in attendance, as he was doing the show tape from outside the field house, but so is the CEO of WWE, Triple H.
Nice.
He posted a video of Triple H and Pat together in a small little 21-second clip.
That's awesome.
WWE representation at the Pacers game, of course, for Tyrese and Jalen Brunson. So let me get my final thoughts real quick. It was fun. It was fun to be on here with you guys. Sorry I had to deal with the power outage. Excuse me. Transformer Blues, so I was at the mercy of the NIPSCO, which is our public service company that deals with our power, gas, and electric. Had at the mercy of them getting this fixed. So joined on a little late, but I'm glad it was on. Was able to contribute. I will be back in the host chair next week. I'm excited to be back in that host chair and do the show from the start. Obviously, it's been a crazy couple weeks for me. I've been dealing with being sick and still kind of getting over it a little bit, but I'm ready to rock and roll, get back in the host chair and do these shows, you guys. And glad we got a lot of topics in. Glad we got to cover all four major sports, a little MMA, some pro wrestling. And Hijacker, if we didn't get to you, we apologize. But we're running out of topics, my brother. we can't go on forever. But thank you guys again. Thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to everyone who watches this on demand. We appreciate it. Guys are awesome. Follow our individual links, including mine at Deadman469 across most of my socials, at Too Sweet Cosplay across all socials for your wrestling / cosplay needs. We're hoping to do something with Fan Expo coming up. Keep an eye on the social medias as that information becomes available. And of course, don't forget to follow this show in the Nation's Corner. So I'll let Joey and Steven do their final thoughts. Have a good night, everybody, and peace out.
Real quick before I give my final thoughts, I feel like I should bring this up real fast. Y'all take a listen at what Tyrese Halliburton did in the first quarter of tonight's game. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 of 5 from the field, including 3 for 3 from 3-point range.
Tyrese is not playing around.
No, he is not.
As Halliburton did that in the first quarter of tonight's game. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Good stuff.
But yeah, as far as my final thoughts are concerned, it was great being back on here. Like I said, I mean, that 3 weeks that I was gone, just had a lot of stuff going on. A lot that needed to be taken care of. But I'm glad to be back. Just at this point, I'm just counting down the days till football season, because I'm not gonna lie, I watch football videos. I just watch football in general every chance I get, because I just love the game of football so much. Especially now that my Commanders are actually winners for a change. It feels good. It feels pretty damn good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Awesome job by all of us tonight, getting so much in throughout the show. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. And Steven, you know how to wrap this up, my brother.
Yes, I do. Great job with you guys. Thank you for joining us here tonight, William Geyer, and everybody else that joins us on demand. Thank you very much as well for joining us as well that way as well. It's been cool kind of reacting to this Pacers-Knicks game on the air, but we're going to finish reacting to it when we're off the air, because like Esther said, we can't be here forever. We can't be on the air for 3-4 hours, because trust me, we ain't doing that again. This has been a lot of fun talking about the conference finals, giving our top 5 games in the NFL season for the upcoming year in 2025. And also, real quick, shout out to Don here in the chat. Hope you're doing good, my man. Thank you for joining us as well. Anyways, you can follow us on our individual social media platforms. You can follow us on Twitter or X at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, where we are also live right now on YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. And also don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook.com/The Nation's Corner, Instagram/The Nation's Corner, and of course where they are live on most Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific on the West Coast. YouTube.com/The Nation's Corner. And if you have not checked out this past Saturday's episode, please do so and check it out, because Drake from Los Angeles, California, graced the Nation's Corner with his presence and it was a hell of a show. I tell you what, that 13-year-old kid, he is one of the most brightest kids when it comes to his knowledge of professional wrestling. It was a great show. That kid is very entertaining when his calls on Busted Open. And quite frankly, before he goes to school, he takes the. Oh, Jesus, what a move. Anyways, reacting to this game, he is not only is he going to school and learning, he's also taking some of these callers to school and Busted Open. Just saying. Great show about those guys over the weekend, and also shout outs to Deb because she got to witness for the very first time Metallica in concert. And Ez and I, we can both say this our very selves that Metallica puts on a hell of a show. Just the energy, you feel like you're a part of it because they bring the energy every single night. Insane. Absolutely insane. And also, while we're on giving shout outs to Sam in Cleveland for going to AC/DC tomorrow night, witnessing the mighty AC/DC as they finish out their tour here in America. And also shout outs to two friends of mine, my friend Ann and Christine out of Florida, who flew in from Orlando to be at that show tomorrow night. Hope all of you guys have an amazing time tomorrow night at AC/DC. And thank you to Don. Thank you to William Gyron for joining us here in the chat. And everybody else that joins in on demand, thank you very much as well. Everybody out there, hope you had a wonderful and safe Memorial Day weekend. And like I said last week, and I'll say it again, what we are doing here tonight, we would not be where we are today without the brave men and women who are currently serving or for those that have served this great country. God bless every single one of you that made the ultimate sacrifice to fight, protect for the rights of all of us Americans on this planet. Because without these brave soldiers and warriors, we as people in society today would not have things that we have today. And we do not take that stuff for granted. Again, thank you to the brave men and women out there serving our country right now, fighting the great fight for our country. And for those that served and passed on due to the war, God bless you. All of you guys and gals are the true American heroes. We salute you. We love the US of A. And we love you guys for joining us here tonight. And for those that join on demand, thank you very much as well. So with that being said, for Ezra Vickery, for K-Rock, Kevin Rory, for JT, Joey Thornton, for Randy Gyron, William Gyron, our favorite kitty cat in the world, Sprocket, I have been your host for this season, Stephen Wyand. And we will see you fine ladies and gentlemen very next week for another great edition of the Sports Show. Same time, same by God YouTube channel. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the wrestling. Enjoy the hockey. Enjoy the basketball. Most importantly, enjoy your life. Make memories with the family and friends that you love the most. Make a difference on society. Be good to one another. Be good to each other. Have a great rest of your week and upcoming weekend. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Turn me up.